save their makeup, and save their fingers in houses and food. What the hell are you talking about? It takes a lot to come up with an idea in your head and make it into a real thing that people can... Oh, goodness gracious, who wrote this? Hi, gang. So in this video, I am going to be kind of reviewing the Z Palette Z Potter for you. So if you don't know what this product is, it is essentially a induction heater for people who like to depot their makeup palettes. So if you're like me and you like to put eyeshadows in magnetic palettes such as this, where you can easily just remove the pans, rearrange them how you want, then this might be something you would be interested in. The makers of this electronic device is Z Palette, and when they first released the Z Potter, there was some controversy when the owner of Z Palette was mocking some customers who were critical of the product and the price. Hi, it's Editing Clara here, and I am now looking through the comments or responses that Z Palette made towards people who were critical of the Z Potter upon its release, and it's a lot worse than I remember. So yeah, let's just get into what they said. I'm going to read out some of the responses by Z Palette. At Anesthesia, it is just you. It's not a hot plate. Look up induction, tell me if you know. At KC Freed, no you can't. What you can do with a flat iron is burn your fingers and your makeup. So keep on keeping on. That was a little bit sarcastic. At NM Montana, you look like a cheap date, but we're not messing with you. At Bitchin' Wieners, you're in a dorm room. It may be a stretch for your budget. Give customer service a call on Monday. At Fascio Lala, thank God we don't need your money. Fascio Lala. At Glamour by Yanni, listen to some Jim Ron. It's not that it's expensive, it's that you can't afford it. So after the fallout, Z Palette made a sort of statement on Instagram, but then quickly deleted it. I'm going to be reading out the statement. 8 years ago, the founder of this company, Zina Steisel, really wanted a way to organize her makeup kit after lugging it around for so long. So she invented the Z Palette. She patented it, went through a series of manufacturers before she found one to do it just right, and brought it to market. It didn't come from a need to make money. We haven't raised prices since Z Palette began in 2009. It came from a need to organize and to share that with others who wanted to simplify their makeup kits, their makeup drawers, their vanities, their lives. We've since developed many products that have helped people all over the world. The Z Potter is such a product. We all know depotting can be difficult, and it's daunting to those who've never tried it or only tried it once or twice. So we developed the Z Potter to address this. And it has helped a lot of people save time, save money, save their makeup, and save their fingers in houses and food. What the hell are you talking about? And save their fingers in houses and food primarily because it is safe. There is no open flame. So chances are you will not get harmed, and neither will your makeup, or for that matter, your packaging. We are known for our Z palettes. The Z Potter is an electric device, a quantum leap for us that we are excited to take. We developed it over 4 years, tested it incessantly, and got the proper safety certifications. This was a personal journey for us. It was a challenge to see if we could help others depot easily and safely, and to see if we could build this machine. And so we take it very personally when people dismiss it or talk badly about it, and treat it as a joke. We understand feedback, we understand constructive criticism, we understand upset customers, and we deal with those in stride, and we know these are all opportunities for us to deliver great customer service. We're not talking about those. We're talking about the vicious, mean-spirited comments from people who in 99% of cases haven't even tried the Z Potter. They just commenting to jump the bandwagon or be seen or heard or get followers. It takes a lot to come up with an idea in your head and make it into a real thing that people can, oh goodness gracious, who wrote this? And make it into a real thing that people can touch and feel. And it takes even more to stand and face the music, good or bad. Most people may never feel the excitement of the former, and fewer will want or be able to take the fear and courage that come with the latter. We take every comment seriously, like we take our machine seriously, like we take our tried and true customers seriously. Many times we adopt the face of the quote-unquote company, stoic and implacable in the face of harsh quote-unquote commentary. Sometimes we do not. It's easy to be fearful of the wrath of the customer or the wrath of the influencer, especially in today's media fetishized society. But we will stand by our products as we stand by our customers. And we will keep making products for those customers, and we will evolve with those customers. As in life, so in business. It's not how many friends or customers you have, it's the quality of those customers. And we want those who are with us. We will serve you, and we will take care of you. That was very bizarre to read out. Anyway, I also found an article by 17.com. This was published in February 22nd, 2017. The founder, Zina Steisel, spoke to 17 in order to address the controversy. Steisel told 17.com that the comments made by Z Palette's Instagram account were just defending the brand from being bullied, not an attempt to bully others. We did not bully anyone. We don't condone bullying of any kind. Anyone who has interacted with us knows that. Our customers know that. We took a stand against the insensitive and unsolicited comments that were being hurled at our company and at makeup companies in general, she said. The images floating around social media show you what Z Palette allegedly wrote, but make no mention of the posts that triggered the response. So I looked for the original comments that triggered the response, as Zina Steisel put it, and this is what I could find. NM Montana said, "It literally looks like a cheap hot plate." And to that, Z Palette responded, "You look like a cheap date, but we're not messing with you." Laugh crying emoji. Glamour by Yanni says, "I know, too expensive," and she was replying to someone else. Z Palette responded, "Listen to some Jim Ron, it's not that it's expensive, it's that you can't afford it." Those responses by Z Palette are the ones that cross the line the most. I strongly disagree with Z Palette saying that they did not bully anyone. For instance, calling someone a cheap date, if you think about it, what does that mean? What does a cheap date mean? This person has very low standards and is willing to go out with just about anybody. That value judgment is being based on what? Her physical appearance? Because she says, "You look like a cheap date." That's pretty much making fun of someone for being promiscuous or their own personal choices when it comes to dating. So that to me is a personal attack, and that in turn is bullying. Also, when she said it's not that it's expensive, it's that you can't afford it. What is expensive to someone is all relative. That is entirely true, because people have different means and people have different economic statuses and financial capabilities. You can tell that this statement was not made to point out the injustices of income inequality. You can tell that this statement was made primarily to demean this person for not having enough money to afford this product. Oh, this is also supported by the other comments that Z Palette made. "You're in a dorm room, it may be a stretch for your budget, give customer service a call on Monday." It doesn't sound like she's saying, "Oh, you're a student, we understand that you don't have as much finances as other people. Let's hook you up with a discount code." It could be interpreted that way, but the way she says it sounds as if she's making fun of the fact that this person is a student with lower financial resources. This person is making very elitist judgments. She's making a value judgment based on the ability of these people to purchase the product. If she had taken all of these comments into account and seen that people were saying this product is too expensive or it is simply a glorified hot plate, perhaps she could have demonstrated the difference between the Z Potter and a hot plate. If you are selling a product and people cannot see the benefit of purchasing your product over using something that they already have, then you're not marketing it well enough. And to insult people because they don't see the benefits of your product is ridiculous. If you can't make that clear, then it's your fault that your product is not selling. Perhaps you can make comparison videos. Perhaps you can send out your product to product reviewers. And if you see that most people are saying that, okay, this is a little bit pricey for me, then you can think about perhaps running a sale for, I don't know, Black Friday. If you don't want to do that because that runs into your profits too much, then just don't say anything about it because some people can't afford it. That is totally fine. You don't have to be demeaning to them about their financial status. You don't have to insult them because they cannot afford your product. That is bullying. And from what I've seen, the comments that triggered the response was not bullying. Those were not personal attacks on the company. It was a criticism about the product. I mean, there are people that cannot afford luxury items. I don't know how much a Prada bag costs, okay? Let's just say, I don't know, like $500 for a Prada bag. That's way too expensive for me. They might write that in the comments. They might say that to their friends. But it's already understood that Prada is not looking at them as their target consumer. They want a certain kind of person to be able to own that bag. And that is why they have marked up the price so significantly. If you don't think that your product is being sold for an exorbitant amount, that your product is value for money, $85 is not too much to pay for this device, then it is your responsibility to show the consumer the value of the product and why it is priced at this price. Yeah, I understand that behind companies there are people, and people have feelings and emotions, and sometimes that interferes with the professionalism that you are supposed to maintain as the face of a company. But in this case, I think by her kind of digging in her heels and saying, you know what, I think I did what was right. I've defended my product in this manner. That's just poor character in my opinion, and I think she definitely should have apologized. Let's just move on to the product review because I could be here all day talking about this scandal. So I essentially got this product because I like to take apart my eyeshadow palettes and make them easily customizable, and also so that I can mix and match what I want to take with me when I travel. This kind of system would probably be very useful for maybe working makeup artists that don't want to carry around 50 palettes to create a few different makeup looks. You can take some blushes with you, some eyeshadows with you, some cream products with you, if you have magnetic pans like this, and just stick them in any sort of magnetic palette that fits, and you're good to go. So that's the reason why this product appealed to me. I'm not a makeup artist, but I am a makeup enthusiast. Also, another thing to note is in the past, Z Palette had not produced a Z Potter that abided by the EU regulations in terms of the plug and the voltage. And I only recently found out that they had created a version which is EU and UK friendly. So I did order this product directly from the Z Palette website. Unfortunately, at the moment, shipping costs are quite high, and you do have to pay some custom taxes if you want to import it into the EU. From what I understand, they have a warehouse in the in the UK, which will ship the product out to you in the European Union if you do live in the European Union. However, because of Brexit, there will be a little bit of custom taxes that you have to pay. I paid around, it was a small amount, it was about 13 euros, so I wasn't too unhappy about that, but the shipping costs were pretty hefty. So is the Z Potter a good investment for you? If you do have a lot of makeup palettes, it might be, but you also do have to check and see if the makeup palettes that you have a lot of pans that are metal and attracted to magnets. So they can be metal, but they might not be attracted to magnets. So according to the pamphlet that you get with the Z Potter, this product is good for cast iron, enameled cast iron, and induction ready stainless steel. A quick way to tell if the pans in your palettes are magnetic is to grab a magnet, get a fridge magnet or something, and hover it over the edge of the metal pans. And if you feel some attraction there, then these will work with the induction heater. First thing to do is to check out if in your collection there are enough palettes with pans that are attracted to magnets. That's the first thing. And if there are, great. But here is a word of caution, because I did have a bit of a mishap with my Pat McGrath Divine Rose 2 Mothership palette. So this is a pretty palette, and obviously this is not something that you really want to destroy. So these Pat McGrath palettes do come with pans that are metal and attracted to magnets. These 6, for instance, you can kind of see around the perimeter that there is some sort of metal casing around them. These shades, however, are not encased in any sort of metal casing, but you can still remove them with a depotting tool. I think it's a baked formula that is stuck onto a plastic grid. As you can see, that just came right off. I'm going to have to fix that again. There is a channel on YouTube, one of the ladies from the Makeup Breakup. I will link a channel down below, as well as the video where she talks about how she depotted her Pat McGrath palettes. My idea was to turn this into a magnetic palette where I could mix and match the shades. I could take out the shades at will and put them in other palettes for travel. As you can see right here, there is some warping going on in this pan, a little bit on this pan, and this pan. Now, this warping was much worse before I tried to rectify it with heat again, okay? And if you look on the back, as you can see, there is some warping in this section right here. If you have a Pat McGrath palette, you know that at the back, there is some sort of a golden metal plate. And I tried to heat this up in order to loosen the glue that attaches this metal plate, firstly, to the back of the palette. I tried that. That was a disaster, because, as you can see, some of this kind of burned off. This area was also pretty badly burnt, and I stupidly tried to scrape it off, and yeah, this is the result. I do have quite a damaged back metal plate. I thought, okay, fine, that metal plate is off, and now I can just work directly with the plastic cover and the metal pans that are inside here. What I found is that there is actually a sort of metal portion right here. I don't know if this is true for all the Pat McGrath palettes. I know it is true for this particular one, and because of that, it started heating from within, and this is why some of the pans became warped. So there was a lot of swelling, and this frame here was kind of warped and bent, so that when I closed it, there was initially a significant kind of gap over here. Word of caution, if you haven't depotted your Pat McGrath palettes with the Z-potter yet, don't. Just don't. These are some other shades from the Divine Rose 2. As you can see, this one has been broken, and this one is quite severely bent on the top. It was quite difficult to take out these pans. However, the same was true when using the hairdryer method with my Bronze Seduction palette. So the induction method simply resulted in a more damaged outer packaging for this Pat McGrath palette, but the process of removing the pans was equally difficult using alternative methods. If you, however, have already warped it somewhat and you have swelling going on in the plastic here, what you could do is to, again, use the Z-potter to kind of heat up the plastic until the plastic is soft and malleable, especially in the place where the metal is, and then use one of these kind of pressing tools and force the plastic back into the shape that you want it. I was pretty successful using that method with this pressing tool. And to fix the warping on the back, I cut out a piece of thicker cardboard. I placed that underneath the palette on a flat surface and kind of pressed down to get the plastic kind of to mold back into place. Just to show you, I was a lot more successful with the Bronze Seduction palette using the blow dry method. This is now a fully magnetic palette. As you can see, that shade pops right out, and I have a square magnet right there, and I can pop these in however I want. So if you look at the back, this entire metal plate is intact. I heated up this area a little bit with the hairdryer, and I used a flat tool which people use to take apart phones. I used a very, very thin metal flat tool to kind of wedge it under the metal and kind of shimmy the glue apart. I will put a picture of that tool up on the screen for you so you know what I'm talking about. This shade was broken quite badly, and this shade was also broken quite badly. I did repress them using a dry repress method. So here are some of the palettes that I had great success with using the Z-potter. The Pat McGrath one was one of the duds, but things like this has a cardboard backing. That was quite simple. I also managed to depot the ABH Riviera and the Kali Bible. The ABH palettes, at least the ones that come in this kind of packaging, my experience so far with them has been quite smooth. I didn't have a lot of problems. I did use a sewing needle to kind of pry out each of the pens. The good thing about this is that I could put in some small magnets in each well and turn this into a magnetic palette. This one was the Jeffree Star Blood Money palette. That one worked out pretty well too. I have taken apart a lot of Jeffree Star palettes just because I no longer support the brand. Prior to using this Z-potter, I did it by taking this frame apart and kind of just peeling the pens off of the cardboard. With the Z Potter, it was a little bit easier and I didn't break as many shadows as I did in the past. I broke maybe one shadow from this Blood Money palette, whereas with the other palettes, especially the, I think, Blood Sugar one, I broke quite a few of those. Here is the Blood Money and Carly Bible palette that I depotted. Here are the Murt and Marcus shades, the Riviera shades, and a few of the Divine Rose 2. These shades from the Celestial Thunder by Dominique Cosmetics. They have been depotted. It's just that I haven't found a magnetic palette for them. That is pretty much it. I have not depotted all of my palettes, and I do have a substantial amount of palettes that do not have the metal pans that are suitable for the induction heating process. The product also comes with a metal plate. This is for the purposes of depotting palettes which do not have pans that are attracted to magnets. You could still theoretically use this in lieu of a flat iron method or the hairdryer method. However, I'm not entirely sure if that's the best idea. Now here's my suspicion. You probably will still need to add some heat in the front so that the metal can be directly, in contact with heat and then heat up all around. Heating up the metal would help to loosen the glue which is in direct contact with the metal pan. If you have a palette which has metal pans that cannot benefit from the induction heating process, which is also encased in a plastic casing, trying to heat it up using a metal plate is going to probably warp the plastic as well, as you saw with the Pat McGrath palettes. So yeah, if you have any experience using the metal plate and a palette with non-magnetic metal pans, let me know in the comments down below. I'm sure other people will be glad for the advice. I will be trying to restore this to its former glory. Here is the palette after it's been cleaned up, and I've placed in the magnetic squares. So now it is a magnetic palette, which I'm happy about. This is the back plate kind of cleaned up and straightened out the best that I could. There is still some indentation right here, as you can see. Also, I buffed out the gold color because it was driving me nuts that this area was kind of tarnished and the rest of it was gold and there were some burnt spots still. So I used a nail buffer just like this to sand it down. I haven't stuck it back onto the back yet, but that should be easy with some mounting tape, some double-sided mounting tape. That shouldn't be a problem. If you found this video helpful, please let me know down in the comments below. Also, if you have any tips and tricks for the community, that would be wonderful. Also helpful for me. And if you're not already subscribed, I would love to see you here again on the channel. Thanks for watching and ciao for now.